All right, looks like 6 are on already. I'm all set here. My little Stampin' Dimensionals are over there. All right. I was just kind of watching out the window. Our son is here, and he got stuck in the driveway, trying to make it up the driveway. It's like hasn't been sanded or salted, and it's all going to disappear this weekend because it's going to be super warm. But it's funny, he got stuck. Anyway, that's not the first time anyone's got stuck in the driveway. It's a shared driveway, so it gets packed down, and nobody sands or salts it. I'm not sure why, but anyway, we're gonna make two cards tonight. I want to try to be a little quick because he's here, and I haven't seen Mark in a while, so he might pop in because he might not know that I'm doing a live right now. But we'll see. All right, so it looks like we have Leslie, Louise, and Donna on. So welcome to my channel. This is Friday Night Crafting with Karen. I bring you some live inspiration every Friday. And again, we're going to be working with waves of inspiration. I'll try to do my best to create these cards. Now, I know a lot of demonstrators are featuring this stamp set and bundle and all the components with it. It did just come live to customers on the March 1st. So welcome to all the customers that are able to order this. I ordered the whole collection. The whole collection is priced at $79.25, so it's not that bad. And it's called Waves of the Ocean Collection. If you're looking for the item number, it's 161797. So that's 161797. I will do my best to try to answer questions from the comments probably after each card, just because I like to focus on the project at hand. With that said, I'm just going to do a couple things here. Mention my host code for the month of March, and this is if you order $40 to $149.99, make sure you use that host code that's up here, and it's JDVHNWBY. And I'm going to send in the month of April some tear and tape. So I have some that's kind of brand new. Oh, geez, I think my son's coming up. Anyway, this is our tear and tape. I love it on 3D projects. So I'll be giving that away as a thank you for your order. So make sure you use that host code. Now, some of my customers, I would say only 40% of my customers use the host code. And I think I kind of know why. So I printed this out for you. So this is what the customer will see. And when you have your shopping cart, this one is empty right now, but it will say shopping with Karen McNall. Add host code. So do you see that? That is in like such tiny font that a lot of people will miss it. So under my name, shopping with Karen McNall, add that host code right there, okay? That way I see your order, and I know to ship you some of that score tape if your order's at least $40. If it's above $150 or more, then don't use the host code. That way you can earn your Stampin' Rewards. And Stampin' Rewards are free products. So starting at $150, if that was $150 even, you would get $15 worth of free products from Stampin' Up. And you would get my score tape plus a nice card that I send as well. So that's my little commercial for my host code for this month. Next on the list are my retreat. Some of you have purchased the retreat to go option, some the PDF, some in person. I have 7 people in person right now. I'd like to grow that to 12. That's my goal. That'll max out the room. But if I can't, that's okay too. I have at least 7 people plus myself, so that's really fun. So the main course, so it's a Saturday, Sunday retreat. So Saturday we go 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And we'll be making, I have, let's see, 4 make and takes, and they'll make 8 cards of each. And they can bring any projects that they want to work on, scrapbooking, card making, 3D knitting, crocheting, quilting, whatever. I just open up the room. I provide the snacks and the meals all in one. If it's a to-go option, I use that money that is towards the food to ship your package to go, because it costs about $20 to ship my retreats, because they are packed full of products, at least $50 worth of products, and I also have a retreat bag in there too. So here I'm going to go real quick with my cards that I designed for my retreat, and we're going to be using the Ladybug Bundle. This one's super fun. I'm going to add a pack, not a whole pack, but I'm going to split up that party pattern designer series paper to equally. So you'll get at least 12 sheets, and of course it's double-sided. So here's one. It's really fun. I punched out the cardstock and flirty flamingo. I added this cute bow here and just kind of had some foliage there. And people can use whatever, they're going to be cutting out the designer series paper, so it doesn't really matter what patterns they use as long as it goes with the card base that I supply. So I supply everything that is not stamped and stamped in die cut or punch, that type of thing. So you'll get the paper with this if you're a to-go person. You'll get, if you're in the house, then you'll get to use my ink pads and my bundles. So if you don't have the bundle, I'd suggest you ordering it. And you can order that right from me at a slight discount. I cover the shipping to me and the sales tax. And then here's another one here with Bermuda Bay. And we'll be using the Stamparatus on the Ladybug, because I find that stamping it, you need to stamp it at least 2 times to get the solid black. So we'll be using the Stamparatus at my retreat this year, or this session. I've done 2 retreats so far, and this will be my 3rd one. And then here are the 4 cards for Sunday. And this paper is going to be my retreat paper for this month. I haven't designed the cards yet because I'm just completed my celebration cards and kits that I need to get out in the mail on Monday. So lots of happenings going on, or whatever you want to call it, in my craft room all this week, plus all this weekend. So here's this one. I love that nice little kind of valley theme. This one's my favorite. I love the snow-capped mountains. This is in Blackberry Bliss. I just love white with Blackberry Bliss. Is super fun. All the card bases are white, so they can use whatever they want for their patterns of paper. So here's this one with a tasteful textile. And people are going to get a Wink of Stella. So they'll get all the kits or pieces to make this. They'll get the Wink of Stella, just a full pack of the designer series paper, and the rhinestones. Now the rhinestones are on low inventory. If they go on back order, I'll use something else that's in stock. You guys have no idea how hard it is to design a class that is basically, you ship it out 3 weeks later, and you hope that when you go to order the products, because you don't want to overload, you don't want to buy, say you've got 8 people taking your retreat and you buy for 12. Well, that's a lot of extra added expense that I don't want to have. So I have a cutoff date of, I think it's the 13th. I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's Sunday. March, daylight savings time begins on Sunday, March 13th. If you didn't know that, that's the final cutoff for my retreat. And then it gives me basically less than 2 weeks to get it all together. But anyway, that is my retreat. If you have any questions on that, let me know. I've sent it out, the marketing on it, quite a bit. It's on my email list. I cannot supply the link here because of the PayPal link that's in there, and that's against Stampin' Up policy. All right, so Monday, we created with the Waves of Inspiration bundle, and this card we made, and we made one of these, but I have several that I put together, and let me put this one in the middle because that one has the soft seafoam. So I used Stampin' Blends, Petal Pink, soft seafoam. I did not have much of the Flowers for Every Season ribbon combo pack. So I only had enough to make one card, which I demonstrated. This is just some pool party striped ribbon, gingham ribbon that's retired, but I thought it looked okay with this. And this is our make and take for our team meeting, which is on March 9th. So if you're looking to join Stampin' Up, we'd love to have you as an Inspired Daisy member. And you could still come to the meeting. All right, so that is one we made on Monday. And then here is the other one that we made on Monday. This one's really fun. It's got that 4-panel cut out here. Basically, I gave a 3x3 and then you just cut it in half and then cut it in half again. You get all these equal squares, 1.5 inches, and then you just place them on. It's kind of like a puzzle piece. And then this is the die here that I did die cut. All the die cutting on these 4 cards were cut with the mini cut and emboss machine. And we all know that is on sale. So if you're looking to purchase one, let me know. It's originally $60, so 20% off that. Now, if you didn't know, if you're a Stampin' Up demonstrator, you join purchasing the starter kit, and then the next order is your demonstrator order. Not only as a demonstrator, you start out at 20% off retail, but that very first order is basically, if you're buying that mini cut and emboss, you're getting a 40% off discount, because what they do is they're going to give you the 20% sale price. Then they're going to tack on the 20% that you would normally get as a Stampin' Up demonstrator. So that's like almost 50% off. So this mini cut and emboss, you can basically get for like a little over $30. So that's a super great deal. And there's lots of bundles on sale too. So just think about that. Maximize your money. And then let's go over to, that's an envelope on some other card. So these are kind of the similar. You can see, actually this one is basically exactly like this. I cut it, you can see it's cut the same, but these are a little bit different. I really like this card. It's really super fun. Okay, so the cards that we're going to be making tonight, let me get in front of us. I've got 2, and I'm not using the Stamparatus. I'm just going to wing it. All right, so these are the 2 that I'm going to be making. The one on the left here uses like a crumb cake kind of highlight color. And then this one here is plain stamping. So I'm going to make this one here on the left first, and then I'll finish with this one. Okay, so let's get my kits ready to go. They're over here. All right, so make sure I get the right one. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Let's see, any questions so far? Nope. Oh, I forgot to mention, so I've been prepping for my celebration. So let me tell you who is the final names for my celebration. Carla, Teresa, Kathleen, Charlene, Eileen was added, and Jody. So congratulations, you guys. I am working on it for you, and I'm projected to mail it on Monday. So stay tuned for an email from me. And I see a couple of you guys are on here tonight. All right, so I've got a bunch of stuff in front of me. So let's kind of go over what I have in front. Always a Stampin' Up envelope. These are high quality envelopes. Don't send your cards in like cheap envelopes. I know they're out there, but use our basic white, very vanilla envelopes, because you're making a handmade card that's beautiful. Why not? Don't put it in a trashy envelope, right? Use your basic whites. And then I've got a basic white card base, which is the top fold. Some people call it the hot dog fold. I'm not sure why, but I haven't kind of figured that one out yet. But it's cut 4 1/4 by 11, and I've already pre-scored it and burnished it with my bone folder at 5 1/2. And then we have a piece of basic white, and this is cut 2 by 3¼ And what it's going to do is it's going to get adhered on to the Stitch So Sweetly panel scallops, and that's in crumb cake. And you can kind of see the little stitching on here, which is really nice. These are like one of my heavily used dies in my craft room. And then here is the die from the Waves of Inspiration bundle. I have all these dies here, and they're really hard to keep all of them on my magnet sheet. There are 10 of them, and 2 of them are really large. So we've got the big ocean here. I'm gonna put them out here so you can kind of see them. I'll do them backwards. So you can see that these two, they layer on top of each other. And then there's the stamp we're going to stamp. And then you've got some nice little sentiment banner type of things that do cut a hole on the ends. And on Monday, I showed you how to weave it through. This is a die to cut out the pelican. And then there's 2 cloud dies here, a big one and a small one. And then there's the seagulls. Then this die cuts 2 out at the same time, and they're different sizes. And then there's 2 little wave highlights, a kind of a small one and a larger one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I haven't lost one yet, which is super fun. I'm still looking for my, let's see. I'm looking for one die I've lost for over 10 months. I know I'm going to find it eventually. Like I did the other one. I can't remember which die set it is, but I'm sure I've mentioned it millions of times to you guys. It's Friday. My brain usually is fried on a Friday. So today was my final full-time day. So Monday I start my 30 hours. So I'm really not retired until I actually start my break from my current employer, which will be August 1st. So I'm not really going to say I'm retired until that date. And I've got my countdown calendar time warp thing that Carla sent me. Thank you, Carla. And I'm going to get that going or bring it to my craft room. It's downstairs right now, but I will bring it to you next time I do a live. All right, enough of that. Let's stamp, right? Shall we? So I'm going to stamp with a pelican and those little posts. I love the detail on the rope, as you can see here. You can see the detail on the rope, so very clear. I'm going to be using soft suede ink. And what you want to do, if you can see, these 2 posts are at different heights. So the one that is up higher, you want to make sure you're hanging it off on the white cardstock, because if you don't, it's going to get stamped above and then it's not going to look right. So I'll try to show you what I'll do is I will show you what I mean on the backs. Like I'm going to stamp this on the back side. So if I just stamp it like this, do you see, like, it's kind of floating, and that doesn't really make any sense because these posts usually are in the water. So you want to make sure that you're stamping over the edge of your cardstock, whatever color it might be. So since we have 2 sides to every paper, I'm just going to stamp again, and I'm going to drop the stamp down below this edge of the paper. That way I'm kind of won't have any space. Okay, so see what I mean? So now it's even. So let me just show you here. That's kind of the wrong way in my mind. That's just kind of floating. Now this way it shows that if I feel like it's in the ground or in the water. Okay, so that's that one. Now I'm going to stamp the seagulls with a lighter brown, which is called Crumb Cake. And this is a really, really small stamp, and I'm using an A block. So I'm going to stamp an odd number of seagulls because odd numbers are kind of more pleasing to the eye than even numbers. So I'm just going to kind of stamp them. It doesn't matter what direction, because seagulls, they kind of go every direction, right? So that's 4 and 5. So I'm just going to stamp 5. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my soft suede back into the picture here, and I've got the die from the waves. And this is gonna be a happy birthday card. So let me see if I can get this straight for you. Kind of get it in the middle. All right, that's not too bad. So I use soft suede and it says happy birthday. And of course, we're going to stamp happy birthday on our envelope. So I like to stamp it down in the corner there. If you want to get really fancy, you can stamp it 3 times. So, well, actually, no, you can't, because it's going to go over. Well, yeah, you can. Let's try this. And we're going to stamp it over. I'm winging this one because it didn't come out very good. And then we got something here. So I'm going to just let's put a seagull. Let's fill in that white. We'll just put some seagulls there. That doesn't make really any sense. Usually I just stamp happy birthday in the corner, but we're going to go with that. That's kind of ugly in my mind, but it is what it is. Okay, that is all the stamping. So I'm going to close up these ink pads so we don't make a huge mess. I'll need them. I think I'm going to need them a little bit later. Okay. Now, that's the opposite side of this paper. So maybe, let's just take a look. My ribbon is not going to go, though, I don't think. But we'll wing it. So I'm using the Fine Art Floral ribbon, and I just have a scrap of it on this cardstock here. So kind of just looking, you know what? I'm going to make it like this so we can see the opposite side. Why not, right? Okay, so this piece is 2 inches by 5.5, so it's going to be flush on the top here and the bottom. That's if I scored it correctly. Looks like it might be just a little bit off. I have a brand new bottle of the liquid glue for you guys tonight, so I really shouldn't have any issues with the flow of the glue, except for it could probably come out really fast. Okay, so now let's see what we've got. So I'm just gonna gently kind of squeeze the bottle here. Let's get it going. All right, so I've got the glue there. I'm gonna flip it. Okay, so now I'm just gonna look and see. This paper is somewhat directional in the fact that when you look at it, it's kind of wavy. And I did forget to show you the paper, so maybe I'll try to remember to do that. I think I like these little bubbles on the bottom for some reason. I don't know. My eyes are saying just put it that way. So I'm just going to adhere this 2 by 5.5 right to the front. And I've got a little bit of white showing over here on the left side. Now I'm going to look and see if there's anything hanging over, which there is just a little bit. So if you're fussy like I am, you're just going to take your paper snips and just trim off. It's like less than 1/16 of an inch, but that's going to bother me. So we'll just cut it off. All right, so next is going to be the ribbon. Now, this could be a little too heavy of a ribbon to use, but it's kind of what I had in my craft room. My ribbon supply is actually really depleted. I actually went through it. It's on my wall to the left of me, or the right side of me, and I kind of put it in order by color, like it's a rainbow. And I noticed I had all my ribbon I used for my celebration up there. Well, that's all gone. So I have it's like a huge empty spot up there. So I guess I need to get some more ribbon. All right, so let's see if I can make a bow that's pretty good. Nope, I need to get this a little bit longer on the left side here. Okay, so Let's see if I can do it. Mark knows that my son knows that I am actually with you guys right now because I heard him come upstairs and he was right outside my door and he didn't come in to say hello. Well, how rude is that, right? Oh, that's okay. All right, so I'm gonna, let's see. Let's get this bow going here. Looks a little floppy. Okay, that's not too bad, but of course those tails are super long, so I'm just gonna take my fancy scissors here and just gonna trim this right down. Make it a little bit smaller. And then just make sure it's kind of in the center. Now let's take our white stamp panel and I'm going to color this after I get it on. And the reason why is it doesn't matter if the blends goes through because it's just going to go on that crumb cake panel and that's fine. That's acting as my scrap paper. So when you use Stampin' Blends, you kind of need to, it will soak all the way through that white or whatever cardstock you're using. So I used, on this one, I used Petal Pink. And I'll do the same. I have the dark and the light. And for this pelican, I noticed that it's easier to use the really pointy, the brush tip, because it's so small. And when you have new blends, they kind of have so much ink in them that it might bleed. Like you can kind of see on that beak there. It bled a little bit, unfortunately, and I don't have a color lifter yet. I need to get one of those. Okay, so there's the pelican. What I would also do is add some Wink of Stella to the pelican to make him or her shine. So this is wicked juicy. So do you guys know that I've mentioned this before, but maybe you're a first-time watcher or maybe you just need a refresher. So this is Wink of Stella and it's a glitter pen and it will make this stuff, like if you put it on here, it's all sparkly, right? Well, when you get down to the bottom, you can unscrew this whole thing and make sure you have it upright. And you can put about 1 teaspoon of rubbing alcohol, about 20%, into the chamber. Then you just put it back together and then you have another Wink of Stella because there's so much glitter left over in the barrel that I've actually been using these Wink of Stellas for, I'm telling you, probably over a year. I use them, I bring them to my in-person classes, and I always have them available at my retreat. So, and then that's the reason why I have this little red line on it. That tells me that this has been used before. So that's just a little tip for you to expand the life of your Wink of Stella. I also put a little red mark on the top of the cap as well. Okay, that should be dry. And we're going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals to this one. So we'll add at least 4, maybe 5. And let's see. All right. Those are good. Now, I think I'm not going to put one in the middle because that fine art ribbon is pretty thick. So that can act as a Stampin' Dimensional in my eyes. So I'm back to peeling these off with my thumbnail, and I don't know why. I just need to I need to get my Take Your Pick tool out. Okay, so now this piece is just going to go over, and I want about 1/2 inch of that ribbon showing on the right side. So that means I just need to kind of move that bow over to the side a little bit more. So I'm just going to bend this card base so I can move the ribbon because it's fairly tight. Uh-oh. There we go. Now let's slide this in again. And like I said, I want about a 1/2 inch or thereabouts on this side, because I really want to show this ribbon here, because it does match nicely. And there you go. So I just thought of something and I might do it. Yeah. So I was thinking, what would this, remember we tore this paper off last week on Monday? I'm going to put some of this paper right on the bottom here and let's see what it looks like. I think that's going to look awesome, you guys. So since I've already torn it, and I know it's torn, I actually like this side better because it goes with it. So I'm going to re-tear it. And let's see, about here, about half of it. So I'm just going to tear it towards me and not at different heights and levels here, not straight across. Okay, so that's kind of waviness. Now we're just going to figure out where we want this. So I'm going to take my paper trimmer. And this is going to look so much better. See, I love experimenting. When I make a card, I sometimes will change it because I find that something else might work better. Okay, so I just trimmed that off, and it's probably about an inch. Okay, so I want to take this darker color off a little bit. And then I'm just going to bring this right back up to the panel and see where it is. Yeah, I think that's good. So this was 2 inches. So then I think it was 2. I'm going to double check because I don't want to make a mistake here. Yep, 2 inches. So that means this needs to be 2 inches. So I'm just going to flip this over so I have the straight edge at the top of the trimmer. And then I'm just going to trim this down to 2 inches. All right, let me just hang my trimmer up on my wall. And we're going to bring this card right back in. And then now we have some water on the bottom. That looks so much better, right? And if you wanted a different color, you could just flip it over this way. But I like the darker color because of the blues. It kind of brings out the deeper, darker blues. So we're just going to put this right back on. I'll take my liquid glue and then just put a little bit on. And then we're just going to put it edge to edge. Okay, let me just cap this. Now I'm going to take my Wink of Stella and I'm going to add some of it on the top of the waves because when sun is shining and the water will sparkle. I'm really missing the ocean, you guys. This COVID thing is crazy. Hopefully next year we'll be able to go to the ocean, like a warm ocean, like we used to go to Grand Cayman quite a bit. I think we've been there 4 times in our lifetime. We're really missing it. Okay, got something on the front of that card, of course. Who knows what it is? It's probably glue. Oh, Lord. Okay, so this one doesn't have the embellishments. And these are the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. I'm going to add them on here because this does have some Granny Apple Green in it. And I really like that color. So I'm going to grab some of these. And we're just going to, let's see. I could cover up this little boo-boo here if I wanted to. But I think that would look kind of silly down there. So let me just put one down here, and I'm going to grab a little tiny one. There's 3 different sizes here. Actually, let me grab one of this blue color, 2 down here, and then I'm going to sneak another green one. There's something on that. Let's put it over here in this white area. All right, so that's our first one. let me show you the other one that I had made as my sample. And oops, I didn't put the happy birthday on there, right? So that was kind of stupid. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my mini dimensionals, and I'm just gonna use my take your pick tool to take them off the sheet. I'm gonna add 3. Okay, and then let me just remove them. Very easy. And let's sneak this sentiment down here. Okay, now I'm going to move this rhinestone to a different location. Let's move it over here. Okay, there we go. Now let's see which one you guys like. You can vote. Number 1 on the left is, this one's number 1 and this one's number 2. So while I'm cleaning up my area for the next card, you guys can place your vote in the comment section. I'm going to go through it too, just to see if there's any questions. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I do appreciate it. All right. Yep. Yep. Okay. So I think there's no. All right. So Carol's saying Carol L is number 2. Anybody else have a vote? My laptop is like, it's a delayed. Yep. 2. Carla's number 2. I think I mentioned that the, let me show you the Flowers of Every Season ribbon combo pack. I would suggest is the best alternative for ribbon if you want to put your ribbon on. I did use the Fine Art Floral here because it matches the crumb cake, but this one has the Just Jade, and then it's got white, and then it's got this little linen thread with silver, white, and Misty Moonlight in it. So I would suggest, I think this ribbon combo pack, I think it's $10. But don't quote me on that. Okay, so I'm going to start, like I said, my son's here, so I want to spend some time with him. He's actually training, he's studying to become a driver's ed teacher. So the school is paying for his training, and he has to come down to a college in New Hampshire, and this is like the halfway point, so he's going to stay with us tonight and then head out super early for his class tomorrow. So proud of him for wanting to be a driver's ed teacher. Like, that's crazy. All right, so I'm looking for my kit. It is on my desk. There it is. Okay. Now, lots of demonstrators are using their Stamparatus for this. I am not. I'm going to challenge myself to stamp this large wave here. It's like a tidal wave. I'm using my F block. So if you don't know what an F block, like the letter F, like in Finley, I think it's F. Yes, it is F. This is an F block. It's the biggest block that we make. So let me bring out Mark's trusty ruler, and I can tell you the size. 6 inches by 4 3/4. So 6 by 4 3/4. And that stamp fits nicely on it. Okay. Now, some of you may have a hard time with this block because it's so big and it's kind of heavy. So if you'd rather use your Stamparatus, well, then go ahead and do it. But I generally don't have a problem with it, but you watch tonight, I will. Okay, so there's not many pieces in this kit. It's very simple. So what do I have here? I've got a white card base. We sell thick basic white, and we have regular basic white. I'm just using the regular weight. And that's 8.5 by 5.5. I've already pre-scored and burnished it at 4 1/4. So it's going to be a horizontal card that opens up the top way. Then the next pieces, we've got that beautiful paper, which is called Waves of the Ocean. So this is a really dark panel, which I wanted for the dark, just a dark look to it. Now, most of this is going to be covered up. The only thing you're going to see is about 1/4 inch border on all 4 sides. So it really doesn't matter how you put it on. And this is cut 4 by 5 1/4. Just take my glue, add it to the back, and then I'm going to open this up here. I'm going to add it on here with 1/4 inch border. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set this aside because we're going to stamp. Now, I'm going to stamp in Night of Navy ink, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment in white in Night of Navy. So the biggest thing, and I mentioned this last on Monday, was there's this nice little 1/4 inch like extra. And if you don't stamp on the edge, you're going to get this white. Let me just grab, I want to show you. Hold on. I'm just going to grab a scrap of white here so I can work with it. So let me just ink up the stamp. And this is huge, so you're going to want to put the ink pad to the stamp. You'll have much more control. So now if I just stamp this down, and I'm not going to stamp over the edge, this is what you're going to get. All right, so see that? You've got about 1/4 inch of white there, and that doesn't look good, and you've got a little white on this side. You can cut this down if you wish, and that's way you can get rid of it. Or you could, and I just thought of this, I don't know if this will work, we're going to try it. If I ink this up again and stamp this way, what's it going to look like? Okay, that just filled it in. Okay, and then you could do the same thing on this side as well. I just kind of stamped over it a little bit. But I'm going to try to stamp this so I get the image going off of the cardstock and onto my grid paper here. So let's just ink up this stamp, this really large stamp. And I'm going to stamp this. Let me just get over here so I can see a little bit better. And I'm kind of looking at that white kind of space there. And so I'm over left of that white, and I think I'm far enough down, and I'm going to stamp. Okay, and then let's see what I got. All right, so I did not go over all the way. Okay, it looked like I was going to stamp, but I didn't. So I'm just going to try to fix this by bringing in that stamp and trying to fill it in a little bit. I think that works fine, but that's why you have to be careful. So if you can't use a big block like this, then get your Stamparatus out. Now we need to add the sentiment. You're so totally awesome. And this will fit real nice in this area here. It should. Okay. Right on the edge. And if I would have stamped this a little bit more to the left side, then it would have fit totally. I feel like I want to try a second try on this because it's not straight and it's bothering me. So I'm going to, remember this card remember this one I goofed up on Monday? Well, I still have it in my scrap bin. So I'm going to cut this down. Let me just see what this is. It's 3.5 by 4 3/4. 4 3/4. What did I say? 3.5? I think I did. Yep, 3.5. I got a second chance. just gonna make sure. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time for you. Okay, so let me take my Native Navy. All right, now I'm going to bring this way over past. I know I've got it now. There we go. Okay, now that's edge to edge. And I have a little bit more room here to stamp my sentiment. Okay, and then let's stamp it. There we go. Now I'm going to stamp the Seagulls, and we're going to stamp those in a darker brown. So this will bring out the soft suede again. And this has crumb cake on it, so I can just stamp it like this, and I'll be fine. Okay, so let's see how many Seagulls I'm going to stamp here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Odd numbers. Now, the white envelope, again, we're using our basic whites. I'm going to stamp "You're So Totally Awesome" on the envelope. That's better. That's straight. I don't think my eyes like this cursive awesome because it gets in this really tiny "You're So." For some reason, I wasn't stamping it on the card correctly. Okay, so simple. All we're going to do is add this to the front of the card here. You could pop it up with Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to take my Stampin' Seal. So I like to use Stampin' Seal on basic white. And I'm just going to add it all there. And then just center it right on the front of the card. You can see I kind of made a mistake right there with my, I got some ink on the wrong part of that red rubber. Let's see, I want my eraser. There we go. I got that off. Now, I don't think the eraser will get this off. Oh, that's okay. All right, so that's a hot mess there. So we're just going to cover it up a little bit. Now, this is super easy, flat card, correct postage. You can design the inside of the card however you wish. So they're kind of the same thing. You can see the designer series paper is just a little bit different around the edge. And then guess what? I don't know if Karen is on here. One of my friends, she lives in Florida. She sent me some Stampin' Up stuff that she didn't want anymore. It's mostly retired. But guess what was in the box? 74 pounds of Stampin' Up products. My very first stamp set that I ever stamped. It's this one. I can't believe it. I have it back. How many of you guys that have been around for a while have the swallowtail butterfly stamp? Look at this big stamp, right? I don't remember what year it was made in, but look at how big that is. I used gold. I can remember exactly what my card looked like. I don't know who has it now, but I stamped this in Versamark ink. You guys, I did heat embossing for my very first card. Can you imagine? And that's how I got sold to making cards. We used the Versamark, and then I didn't know how to heat anything. Like, people were helping me. That was like super fun. It was a party at somebody's house, and I made the best card ever. So I'm so happy I have this. I'm never going to give it up because that's just kind of reminds me of maybe 12 years ago when I first started stamping. And that's my stamping story. one of my Stampin' Stories. So I know I've got a really kind of hot mess here. I'm going to put all those cards that we made on this paper here. And then there's that one and this one. I'll put this one on the top. And then we have in my little bin here. This one's super fun too. You can see how I use the paper there. And then the 4-panel. All right, so that's all I have for you guys. Sorry it's a little bit short. It is, looks like I'm 51 minutes. That's not too bad. Usually I go an hour and a half, but I'm gonna head downstairs and be a nice mom and socialize with my son. All right, so I'll see you guys on my Facebook page on Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you have any questions on this card, you can email me at inspiredbygraham@gmail.com. And YouTube does not allow me to answer any questions there. So if you have any, then just you can email me and I'll put that in the description box later tonight. So I hope you have a great weekend. Be safe out there.